a beautiful name you dream to use for a long while, but you don't have chance to use. So you can use on this channel. So if you want to protect your privacy, so that you can use that way to appear, to participate without releasing your name, your identity. And that's what I mean. Okay. So obviously, my shot is a little bit scattered because I'm trying to activate the YouTube things. If not, I don't worry about this if it doesn't go through. And but if happen, I can open it up for whatever reason, then I can use it. So far, let's talk about what happened last week. Last week, basically, I told you my kind of miracle experience, right? After probably about a year of very deep depression, very deep depression, I was basically dysfunctioning on everything, on remembering things, on eating stuff, on my communication with other. I was basically, just as I describe myself, a bag of trash. That's my mental image about myself, right? Very low self-respect, very low self-esteem, very low. Basically, I lost my expectation on myself to perform as a normal person, even a normal person. Not to mention about have an ambition, have some kind of goal, some kind of dream for the future. That was totally dead at the end of the year. But one miracle happened, right? I pray. I remember I told you, right? I pray, and God answered my prayer on that spot. Was like total miracle to me, right? So you may say that, yeah, because you are lucky, right? Something just from the outer space just hit you, and you were snatched out from that depression just by one day, and also following the 2 or 3 weeks, right? You using that particular conviction, which is I have, like, Jesus is my future. I don't care anything else. I don't care the accusation, my accusation, myself low expect. How other people look at me, right? My student look, how other students look at me. Oh, that guy just couldn't even finish his simple programming homework, right? I don't care all this. I use that particular conviction to push out all the self-depreciation, self-accusation, all the low and very negative self-image. Within 2 weeks, I was totally out of depression. I was happier than ever. My parents happened to visit me at that moment, and what they see me is like, oh wow, you just like lost a couple pounds. That's obvious, right? By observation, but you are much more happier than we ever know you were before. Even when you were in college, in high school, we didn't know that you are that happy. That was my situation, right? So my key point here is how my question I'll try to answer you here is, how can you turn that miracle into an engineering project with well-purposed, well-designed, very smartly designed feed-forward, and also with the strengths you can rely on, right? This is my question to myself and to you. You probably have that question too, right? It's not repeatable. It is a miracle, right? It's not repeatable. It's not reproducible. So how is your experience can help us who is struggling right now? All my loved one is struggling right now, right, with depression. Today we are going to talk about that secret. So by the end of this talk, you will have the true knowledge of how to turn a miracle into your simple, easy, and fun engineering project. How does it sound? It will look like this. When you want to have a God intervention at this moment, you can have it. As simple as that. You can have it. When you want to feel better, you can have it. You can literally have it 2 or 3 minutes after you ask for that. When you want to sing more clear, you can have it 2 or 3 minutes after you do this exercise. When you want to see yourself in a better way, more handsome, more beautiful, more joyful, like instead of cranky, depressed, or yucky, right? You can also have it within 2 or 3 minutes of this exercise. When you want to execute better, like in depression, one of the biggest struggle is like I lost my ability to execute. I lost my my strength, right, to execute. So by the end of today's section, I will demonstrate to you, everybody who is listening, everybody who is going to watch the YouTube video, sometimes later, you have that 2 sets, you have that confidence, you can definitely fork out your execution with good reward. So is that good? Sounds good? This is a pretty big promise, right? Again, you know, if I fail terribly, I will ruin my reputation as a principal data scientist. But let me put out the disclaimer first, right? I here, Paul Jialiang Wu here, just represent myself, not my current or formal company I work for. So I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a medical doctor that can give you prescription or professional advice on dealing with the situation you're dealing. So don't take my work for granted as an authority. I always encourage you to stress test what I say. Always stress test. Bring my work to the most difficult, most challenging, most high pressure cooking environment to test it, to see whether it works. As simple as that, right? So this is one disclaimer. The other disclaimer is, this is not I'm not selling you magic pill. I'm not selling you snake oil. I charge you nothing but your attention, your full attention. That's why I turn it. That's your attention, right? Because it is your life. I hope that like by the end of this talk, you gain even a 10% or 20% or 50% more confident. You will know that you are 100% the designer and the driver of the life you want to live. You are that person, not me. I'm just a cheerleader. I'm just a street kid, right? Giving you some of my street fighting experience. Also, you are 100% of the time the role model of all the freedom fighters who are struggling, battling with depression. You are the role model of them. So I want you to have that kind of expectation. For me, again, no result guarantee. No result guarantee. The only result I expect is at least one of you, at least one person gaining freedom today. Understand very well the tool set I present in front of you. You are using that to gain your freedom, to gain your joy, to gain your hope today. Don't wait for 24 hours and exercise that. Do it today. Okay, is that fair? So I'm not guaranteeing you any result. The result actually is in your hand. Now let me so this is my disclaimer, 2 disclaimer. 1, I represent myself. 2nd, it is under your control. It's under your power to make things happen. I'm here just to inspire you. I'm here just to enable you. That's it. I'm not forcing my ideology, my belief, or my thought, my model, right? My mental model on you. It's all up to you. How you use it, how you understand it, how you keep it to yourself or spread it to your friend and family who are in need. Okay, so far so good. Let's get started. I always want to start with story, not a series, story. So I need to, because I'm a data scientist, right? Without data, we cannot do science. We cannot do data science. The same thing in real life. Without hearing 2 or 3 stories, what I'm talking about just blah, 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 right? it doesn't make sense. It could be my theology, could be my theory, could be my model, but that is not relevant to you. So let me start with some story. One story I want to talk about is happened very recent, very recent. So to protect that person's private, I mean, the name and the secret of his life or her life, I just use like Alex to represent that person. Okay, because it just happened last couple days ago, literally couple days ago. So this was the situation. I was invited to Phoenix, Arizona, as a speaker to a pretty prestigious conference. You know, the title just scared me. It's called the Chief Data and Analytic Officer Conference. I saw it on the on my screen. Apex West. That conference, the people are attending were very prestigious, except me. So I'm the outlier again. They are the VP people. They are the head of the data science department. They are head of this like big oil company, big consumer company, big e-commerce company, big SaaS company. You know, software as a service company. So they are very prestigious people in their company on the VP level, on their head level. Why I was there? To be honest, right now I'll tell you the secret. I have no idea. Probably I write some article on YouTube, so they think that, hey, this guy is kind of interesting. Let me just grab him to our conference to crack some joke. And so when I was there, I'm the invited speaker. Yes, invited speaker. That bar is speaker, right? Kind of interesting. So I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but my baseline is, as long as I'm there, I have free food, free hotel, right? And I will meet a bunch of very interesting people. So at least we have fun, just as today. As long as we have fun, we don't waste time, right? So that's my baseline. So I will create a miracle before that, and to come up with a talk, right? To make them feel like, oh, it's really profound, something like that. Sorry, I tell my secret to that group of people. Hopefully, right now, some of the invited speaker for that conference, also sitting in the audience, they will say, "My goodness, who is this guy?" Right? And he come to the conference. He doesn't match with our status at all, right? What's wrong with the organizer? Actually, the organizer did such a great job, right? We have a good time. So long story short, let's laser focus on that particular person. That particular person is a manager in that hotel, and he just like gave me actually that morning. He gave me a ride to that hiking trail. So there were a couple of people sitting in the car. We just chit chat, right, as normal. And so he delivered one person there, and they get off their truck, right? And so there was like only me and this guy, right, sitting in the car. Why I call him Alex, right? So the name doesn't matter. It's just a real person. And so I say that it's so much fun. Next weekend, I talk about how to defeat a year-long depression by days. He said, really? Is that something real? Right? I said, yes. Of course, like we have some background check before I throw out that kind of statement. I said, okay, I'm the invited speaker. You know, I'm a principal data scientist working for a biotech company, blah, blah, blah. So we gave basically some trust, right? By the way, that's a pretty high class hotel. If you don't have a big box, you cannot stay there all night, right? It's very expensive, a very high class hotel. And so that's probably, I would say, that gave me some credential, you know, before he know that I'm just nobody but a street kid, right? So anyway, I talk about that. I mentioned that he become like very curious. What do you talk about, right? I basically just like repeat my story. within 5 minutes because the drive was pretty short. And from the hotel to the hiking trail, basically is like 15 minutes. Right? So I give him a 5 minutes version of my story, and he started open up himself. He said that, oh my goodness, I have a very hard time next year. In the past season, my parent passed away, and I got a divorce. Really hard. All of a sudden, I just see the me who was struggling 2 decades ago, just sitting in front of me, driving me from the hotel to the hiking trail. But guess what? All of a sudden, I see a picture. I said, hey, guess what? I see something about you. In 5 days, I see that you're jumping, you're dancing, you're crying, and actually you're laughing at the same time, kind of strange. And I see that you are stepping out of depression completely. By the 5 day, you can count your finger. One hand, the fingers in your hand. I hope that he doesn't have 6 fingers, right? Just 5 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 days, you get out of it. And he was shocked. How is that possible, right? I hear your story. You have a miracle. And I told this person, actually, to our human being, anything, everything, if we haven't experienced, if we doesn't have the model or the theory to explain about, we call it miracle. True? I think to me it's pretty true, right? I call those things miracle. If I don't have experience, if I don't have the theoretical framework to even to talk about that, that's a miracle to me, right? You can use definitely a different terminology, different framework to say it. But to God, guess what? He knows everything. He just engineered that. He planned that out, and he just like execute it with high accuracy, high efficiency. He make that happen, right? To him, it's an engineering project, nothing more than that, right? So if to him it's an engineering project, it's something he can design, something he can execute, something he can get the feedback, right? So it becomes a little bit interesting. To you as a human being, you have all kind of limitation. You have all kind of easy to be stuck by a situation, easy to be affected by the environment. But if you have a good relationship with that person called God, what happened, right? Suppose, like, think about this. Your dad is the last, your dad own NASA, right? I know NASA is a government thing, right? But suppose your dad own NASA. You have a great relationship with your dad. So you will say, hey, Dad, I want to visit Moon next week. Can you just build a rocket ship for me to send me there? Or that will say, oh yeah, son or daughter, that's a fun thing. Yeah, it costs a little bit, but not that much. Let me fork it out for you, right? Let me send a team to build a rocket ship to send you to the moon next week. Simple, done. Your request is granted. So all of a sudden, your miracle, right, visit the moon, become a moonshot project, become a very doable, very well designed, very well planned engineering project. You see it? Totally, right? If you have that relationship with your dad, totally, you can do it. But how can you come up with that kind of debt, right? That kind of debt seems like probably 10x or 100x more than Elon Musk, right? Even Elon Musk cannot send you to the moon next week and to satisfy your desire, right? But guess what? That's that you have, all you're going to have is a trillion times a trillion bigger than Elon Musk. And he is the creator of this universe. He is the redeemer of your soul. He is that big, that great, that smart, that rich, that capable, that generous. He's that, right? He's that one. He's not just Elon Musk, right? Elon Musk is great. I like Elon Musk. But he's much better than Elon Musk, right? I even hear some, kind of sad story between Elon Musk and his son, right? But let's not to sidetrack. But this daddy in heaven is focused on you. You come to this earth for purpose. You come to this earth for mission. Even before you come to this earth, probably he will ask you, hey, son or daughter, do you want to go for a trip on the earth for 50 years, 70 years, 60 years, 100 years, just for a vacation or a trip, a training, right, on the earth. But I would tell you ahead of time, you will experience a lot of challenges. That's actually planned. The difficulty you're facing is not by accident, it's planned. You agree. The good thing is you agree on this. You will go through this fire tunnel called depression to be like toast, in a sense, right? Toast for a period of time. But guess what? Your daddy said that even you go through that fire tunnel, go through that big water overwhelming you, but I have the solution. I will awaken your heart. You will cry out to me. You will realize that you cannot live a life of fulfillment by yourself, but only we together with me. That would make your life much more fun, much more meaningful, much more purposeful. Do you agree? A very simple thing, right? I'll come back to my story first. Let me finish the story. Then I get into a little bit detail of this. So I tell this person, yes, you have such debt. Do you want to restore your relationship with your debt? He said, yes, definitely. If I have a debt like that, right? Definitely, I want to. I don't want to end up killing myself by depression. So I think that it's very simple, because one thing I have to tell you up front, you need to have 100% ownership of the life you are facing, the life you are living. You have 100% ownership. Whether this life is good or bad or ugly, you need to back it up. Own that life you are facing. It is very brutal, to be honest, right? I can't imagine that when I was in depression, some street kid tell me about this. But this very thing will set me on the right ground to start a journey of nice standing, defeating depression. If you don't have that starting point right, you may step 3 steps forward and 5 steps backward. You may blame, hey, God, you promised me this, but you didn't do that, and it is your fault, right? I could say that, like using the story I have last week, I tell you, I can tell that, hey, Father, you give me the opportunity to switch my school from this New Mexico Tech to University of South Carolina. It is your fault. I get into this big trouble. It's your fault, right? And I can blame God all the time. Guess what? That's exactly what I did. To be honest, that's exactly what I did. So at that time, for whatever reason, I didn't cover last time. I complain all the time to God. Say, God, it is your fault. You see that you let me to come to the United States. You gave me a miracle at the 6th time. After 5 times of rejection, my visa restriction, you gave me a miracle, right? You opened the door. You just tricked me, right, into the US. And right now I'm struggling, almost killing myself in depression. It's your fault, right? I did all this complaint all the time. But it doesn't help at all. It actually made my depression worse. Let me to be very, very honest, especially those people who say that they are Christian, who say that I'm church-going Christian, okay? Let me be totally honest to you, okay? It may offend you, but it's a good offense. You cannot tell the people sitting next to you, say that, okay, if you just do the rule of ABC in my church, If you just accept my doctrine of XYZ, you'll be good. You'll be fine. You should not be struggle at all. Bullshit. I'm telling you, this is bullshit. If you are telling people like that, you are using a hammer to hit their head when they are already have a big blow by depression. So don't do that. Please don't do that. I beg you. The other thing what I want to mention is it's not your doctrine. It's not your belief that can rescue a struggling person out of depression. You are hurting them. You are setting up a bar they cannot jump over. They cannot even crawl over. Your doctrine could kill this person easily. It will bring them more self-condemnation. But let me tell you what helped them. Your example, walking with God, with love, with joy, with peace, that could help that person. You set a good example to this person. They don't want a person who using a doctrine hammer to force them, to force their head into a square hole, like you, right? If they don't like you, how they follow your advice to become like you, right? That's a ridiculous thing. You see that, right? If you smell bad, they don't want to become like you. Simply put, right? Sorry, I offend you. I take that responsibility. Again, I own every result. I own every result I'm facing. So this is one thing I told this guy. I told this guy, the driver, the manager of that hotel. I say that you need to own everything you are facing today, good, bad, ugly, including your depression. Why is that? It's very simple. Actually, it's very simple because you have your free will. Whatever you tell yourself, you say that I am a bag of trash. Yes. Who listened to that word? You, right? You are the first person listen to that word. It just jump right back to hurt you. If you speak to another person, hey, you are so mean. You are such a mean person. If you're telling your spouse or your whoever, right? You're telling that person. Who is the first person who hear that? You, right? It's you. It's by your own will you release that word like a sharp arrow, shooting yourself first. And if you are thick enough, that arrow will pierce through you and shoot another person. That's the reality, right? If you say that I have no value, I have no meaning, I come to this world is by pure mistake. Guess what? You are a self-fulfilled prophet. You are exactly walking on that path created by your own word. So do you agree right now? Whatever you're facing, whatever I'm facing, is actually largely created by the word I speak quietly inside myself. I speak quietly or I speak loudly toward another person. I create the world by my own word. I speak. By the thoughts flows through my mind. So I need to take ownership. If I don't get this right, you will basically, continue on this down spiral, right? So let's take this right. So right now at here, I tell that person, yes, although it's hard, although it's brutal, let's face it, I am responsible. I'm 100% responsible. I am the owner of the life I'm facing. I am the owner. So if you are real to yourself, if you want to make change, you can pray with me. You say that, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm not a good owner of my own life. I lash out the negativity all the time, silently to myself. I speak silently to myself. I'm a bag of trash. I was nothing. I'm not worth of this position. I live under people's mercy to continue my life. I'm wasting resources. Confess that. Confess that to yourself. More important, confess it to God. Say that I'm wrong. I'm so sorry. I say this trash. I do this trash talk all the time. I do this trash thinking all the time. I'm so sorry. I'm wrong. I don't want to continue that. Daddy, help me. Please help me. As simple as this, right? You confess. I told you last time, right? I have a miracle just before I go to the embassy. I just talked to the creator. I don't know. I didn't know who he is, right? I talked to him. I'm so sorry. I just snuck. I present some false material on my fifth interview, my fourth interview. I'm so sorry. I did it wrong. I messed up. I confess it to the Lord. I didn't know who the Lord is by then. But I have a supernatural peace. That river peace just merged me in about 5 minutes. So if you are listening right now, you had never owned your own life. You had never been the owner of the life you are facing, good, bad, ugly. Right now is the time for you. Say, I'm so sorry. But I have to say, I own it. It is hard. It's so hard. It's so damn difficult. But I own it. I owned it. I'm so sorry. Daddy, help me. Daddy, help me. Have mercy on me. Have mercy on me. I messed up big. I'm so sorry. Tell him, tell yourself. Be the owner of the life you are living. It's not your spouse. You come to this stage. It's not your school teacher. It's not your parent, even who abuse you. No. Under that kind of circumstance, you choose this path. There's a fundamental first principle. You are given the free will by your creator. Nobody can ban your will. Nobody can steal your will. You are still having it. Even you are in depression. Even you are the king of the earth. You are still having it. Even you are in the prison camp of North Korea. I don't care. You still have it. You still have your free will. You can still exercise your free will. You're the owner of your life. Not God own your free will. Not God can ban your free will. Not the devil can steal your free will. No, nobody but you. So I want to make it very straight, make it right up front. I own 100% the result of my life I'm facing. Even somebody tell me, somebody mistreat me, somebody torture me, somebody deceive me, but I still have 100% ownership of the life I am facing. Clear enough? Okay, then what's next? I told this person, sorry, that's the result, right? Right now you're the owner of your life, 100%. So the result is because I mess up, I make a wrong decision, a sequence of wrong decision, right? So I am facing depression. I basically throw myself into this big pile of muddy, trashy, hellish situation called depression. I am facing that consequence. I get that. So how do you get out of it, right? Very simple. Actually, it's very simple. Somebody got to pay for it. Either you pay for it or somebody pay for it for you. Your Father is merciful enough. My Father in heaven is merciful enough to see that we will get into this trashy, hellish situation. He prepared, he engineered, he executed his plan before we get into this trouble. His solution is called Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior. That's his solution. You say that, oh, that's your theology. No, I believe in this, I believe in that, right? That's not my tradition. I believe in Buddhism. I believe in Taoism. I believe in other religion, right? Whatever religion you are in. But let's face the demand. The demand is you are in need of getting out of this situation. Your shock is lost control. Your emotion is lost control. Your behavior is lost control, right? What is losing control? You are losing your right. You're losing your right because of this a sequence of foolish decisions, right? You are losing your right. Who gave this right back to you? Can you work harder? Can you study harder to get this right back, to get this healthy situation back? I don't think so. I tried all of this for 1 year. I have seen so many people, taking pill and they become good for a season. And then another blow happened in their life. They are brought back to that water, right? The troubling water called depression. I'm not, right here again, disclaimer, I'm not diminish the effect of the medicine. I'm not diminish the effect of a good counseling. Those things help, actually. I'm not against that. But right now, the problem we are facing, we are trying to solve, is not to make your symptom a little bit less bearable, right? It's not like that. The problem we are trying to solve is the fundamental problem. What I call the root cause problem. How you can fundamentally re-engineer your whole life so that even that high pressure come, even that high, very troublesome situation come, you can still have the confidence. Say, I'm not being tempted into this lacking loss of my job. I'm not tempting. I'm not yielding to the situation of I lost a loved one. I'm not yielding. I'm not tempted by the situation that somebody tried to bribe me and get me into that trouble. So I want you to have that kind of confidence, not a symptom makeover. Cover your situation. Again, I'm not against medicine. I'm not against counseling. They are good to some degree, right? But I'm trying to present to you is, can I get the fundamental right so that I have the full confidence to deal with the challenge, deal with the stress test? That's what I'm trying to solve. Actually, the solution is not by me. If I have that solution, I use that solution probably 20 years ago, and I get myself right? But the situation, after 20 years talking and walking with my heavenly daddy, I finally get it. I finally get it. If I'm designed, if I'm made by the creator, I'm created by the creator, right? If this is true, then he knows exactly how to fix the situation this creature is going to go through on this planet called Earth. That's exactly the solution he designed. That's his protocol, not me. I don't come up with that theology. It is written in his book, the Bible. As simple as that, right? It is debated over 2,000 years of history. It is thousands of people trying to, probably millions of people are trying to disvalidate it, right? So you can look at that history. I don't want to get into that route yet, but I want you to go through it. Put yourself as a guinea pig to go through that process, to test it using your own experience, using your own soul as an example, as an experiment, to see whether it's true. I cannot go back to 2,000 years, right, to show you every detail what happened. But what I can show you, what I can guide you through is you can today, within the short 30 minutes, an hour, you can put yourself through that experiment to see whether what I say is working or not, right? If it's working, you gain some confidence on the proposal I proposed to you, right? True? Very simple, right? If God have that proposal, and according to my understanding, I present to you, you can test it, basically. You can test it. You cannot serialize it, but you can test it firsthand by yourself. Okay, so this is the experiment I invite you to go through. You already go through the ownership, right? I own 100% the life, good, bad, ugly I'm facing. I get it. Second, I want to get my right back. I want to get my right back. If God say that this is a protocol, Jesus Christ, you receive him into your heart, you confess your sin, and he will grab you in, back to the family. You are no longer a stranger. You are no longer a foreigner. You are in his kingdom with that king, who is Jesus, right? Governing that kingdom. In his kingdom, there's life, there's love, there's light. There's no darkness. There's no hatred or apathy. There's no yucky things like depression, right? There's no such thing. Do you see light can mix up with darkness pretty well? No, right? When the light is turning on, darkness disappears. They are driving out. They're driven out, right? Completely. So as that light is true, as that life is meaningful, full of power, then you can do a stretch test, right? That's the best stretch test for you today at this moment. So that's the experiment I invite you to do. I cannot force you again, right? The baseline is you own your life 100% of the time. You own your life. You have the free will all the time. Even you believe in Jesus, you still own the free will. Your free will only set to another level of maturity. God would not take it away. You still control it. You are still controlling it. Okay? It messes up somebody's theology, right? Say, Jesus, hold my hand to drive my car, and I have a car accident. Oh, that's good for me because Jesus let me get an accident. Stupid. That's stupidity, right? You still drive the car. Not Jesus let you to get into an accident, right? So you still own your car. You still drive your wheel. That's what I'm talking about. But you can receive guidance from him, like slow down, speed up, turn left, turn right. He can still communicate with you his wisdom, right? What you see, what you hear. Follow it along. Your choice. Your choice. You are the owner. You are the driver, right? So don't blame your spouse if he get into a car accident. Like who is sitting beside you, give you some. Anyway, your spouse can give you long advice, right? But again, come back to the first line of decision. You still have that choice. You still own your will. You need to make your own decision. This is the invitation I present to you. If what I say is wrong, the covenant doesn't establish, right? Because it is based on false evidence or false theory. But if this is exactly what the Bible talk about Jesus, is exactly happened, exactly true, then you can put yourself into this experiment. You will see the result. You will see the result, right? It is a stretch test. I can't come up with anything better than that, right? As a data scientist, formally training as a biomedical scientist, this is the best thing I can think about. Put your theory, put your model through a sequence of stress tests to see how well or how not so well your theory or your model work, right? So this is my proposal to you. You can say, okay, if the Bible say, if God have his word expressed through the Bible, say, if you receive Jesus, he can take your sin. He can pay your price. He pay for you, right? Your sin in the past season, your sin in this season, your sin in the coming season are forgiven. You are giving a new beginning. How good is that? I don't see anything you lost, to be honest, right? You probably lost your pride. You say that I'm trained as a evolution biologist. Yes, you lost your pride. Sorry, your evolution biologist. Go through the stress test. See which one is stronger, right? Very simple. You say that I'm in other religion, right? Good. I'm glad that you have been knowing something about the spiritual world, right? Put your theology, put your view of God under stress test. Whether Jesus is stronger or your God is stronger, right? If Jesus win the street fight, okay, I follow that Jesus, right? Of course, I do not follow the failed person, lost the MMA fight, right? I always follow the stronger, the real deal, right? Okay, here's an analogy, right? Not really. You abandon your friend. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you when you compare these two stream of faith, right? You can do experiment to see which one is real. To tell you the truth, when I was in depression for a period, I struggled with my new game faith. About I became a so-called Christian, right? So at the point that there was some kind of spooky thing happened in the house I was living. Zhang Yong, if you are listening, you remember that, right? Another guy called Cai Geqin also remember that, another student. And the spooky thing was like, oh my goodness, both of them saw some like spooky stuff flowing in the house. I don't want to get into it, but by then I have that kind of struggle. I say that, oh my goodness, whether Jesus can protect me. I was in depression. I'm already pretty weak, right? What can I do? Hey, I come up with a stress test for Jesus. I say that, okay, if Jesus, you say that you are the creator and the redeemer of this world, you are bigger than all this little God, right? So I'm not supposed to be scared. How about you protect me? How about I hide myself under your wing and get through this? If you are stronger than, I also tell Jesus, to be very honest, if you're not the real deal, you lost the battle, all my prayer before doesn't count. I was very, very sticky, right? I always ask this. If you're not the real deal, as it is written on the Bible, even you're not a creator, if you didn't die on the cross to redeem my sin, to pay for my debt, whatever I prayed before doesn't count. I make it very clear. I was smart. Although I was in depression, I was very smart. I say this. But guess what? Today, I ran through all these stress tests. I didn't regret. Good job, Jesus. You passed that stress test. Okay, let's come back to this. So I prayed that prayer, right? I tell the manager to pray that prayer. Yes, you cannot pay for your debt. You already get yourself into trouble and in depression. The depression is biting you back. But right now, try this. Ask the Father to forgive you. Receive Jesus into your heart. Say that, forgive me, Daddy. I couldn't deal with it another day. I was totally messed up. I couldn't pay for my own sin. No matter how many good work I am trying to do, no matter how many A I trying to score, it doesn't help. Those things are irrelevant. What relevant is if somebody can pay my debt and give me a new beginning. That is relevant. So this person prayed that prayer. I see instantly he has the light. That's my perception, of course, right? I see the light. I see the relax appearing through his eyes. He was crying on that spot. I said, okay, that's great. That's a good starting point. But let's continue that journey. Right now, you receive Jesus as your Lord and Savior. Continue. You are starting a good spot. You can start your conversation, your walk with Jesus toward your Father. Jesus is the way. Walk with him. He knows the way how to go to the Father. Walk with him to the Father, to interact with the Father, to ask Father questions. Hey, Dad, can you design a rocket ship for me to go to the moon? Something like that, right? You can start the conversation. When you have that great relationship with your Heavenly Father, you can ask. You can send a request, but be patient. You could ask something good, but you could also ask something bad, right? So his answer could be, great, I give it to you right away. Or it could be, wait a little bit, be patient. As long as you are continue walking and talking with me, you are always in a good place. That gift, that four-wheel drive Cybertruck would be somewhere on the way, right? It's still on the production line. So be patient. We work there, we'll be there. You have that truck. that Cybertruck would be yours. But if you just say, no, Daddy, I don't have the Cybertruck right away. Let me just run away. Something like that, right? You basically lost that gift. Very simple, right? So understand we have limitation. We are easily making mistake. We are but a human being, right? Living in this very limited time, space, spatial space. So be a little bit patient to yourself. Be a little bit patient to the Father who created you, who redeemed you, and who guide you step by step out of depression, right? Fair? Okay, so after this person received Christ into his heart, I'm telling him the very simple things you can do. And that simple things, actually last week I didn't mention it, but here you're lucky. You're talking to this strict kid and coming up with a lot of gift. I just like search my pocket. Oh, here's a pocket light, right? You can use it. Oh, here's a toy. You can use it to help yourself to get out of depression. Very simple. Okay, let me talk about this kind of a power tool, what I call the power tool you can use right away to get yourself into a much better place to feel better, to think better, to speak better, to execute better. Ready, set, go. What I call this tool is called Viva. Viva is the vision you see about yourself. The vision you see about yourself. What could be the person totally get out of depression in 1 week? How does that person look like? How does that person feel like? How does that person speak like? How does that person interact with other people? Can you see the image? You probably couldn't, right? When you are struggling with depression. But just look at, let me say you out as an example. Look at this guy who are talking to you right now. Is he funny? Yeah, he's pretty funny, right? He's not the most funny guy, but he's funny enough, right? Give me an easy time. So just use me as a kind of like a toy example. I want to as happy as Paul, right? He's like joking all the time and pretty silly, pretty funny. I want to be like that, right? I don't want to be that serious. I want to be probably 2x more serious than Paul. Okay, you have an image. You have something to shoot for, right? And you say that, hey, Paul actually speak pretty decent English, a little bit Cantonese tongue, right? That's okay. I can tolerate that. Can I speak like Chinese or Cantonese English like Paul? Okay, that's pretty good, right? That's also pretty good. Can I like giving a talk without being very nervous and being just, like prepare my PowerPoint presentation and need to remember kind of like PowerPoint in my brain, or like joke, right? Picking up his piece of paper. Okay, number 1 point is this. Number 2 point is this. Oh, sorry. But let me get another piece of paper out. Number 3 point is this. I'm not laughing at him. He has his struggle. He has his bottle. What I'm talking about is you have the flow of thought. You have a flow of logic. You have a flow of deep logic under you, right? You don't need to look at your load all the time and being scared of making a mistake, right? Oh, that's a pretty good image, right? How about fast failing forward, right? I was scared if I make this mistake, my company will fire me. I will lose my job. Hey, look at Paul. He's putting all his trash out, cleaning up his trash, right? It seems that he's turning his trash or dust into diamond just in front of us. I want something like that, right? To be honest, and not need to making cover or makeup like this, putting makeup and pretend to be the beauty America, right? You don't need to do that, right? You just be honest, be yourself. Be the self God created you to be. That's it. right? I don't need to pretend to be somebody I'm not, right? Just last week, I told you I went to this pretty scary conference, right? All the VP people are attending, and I'm nobody. And if I compare with my resume with their resume, I would basically like easily, top 1% from the bottom up, right? Who care, right? Who care? If I don't care, who care? And you got to have that kind of, grace to yourself, right? If they care, I probably will care a little bit. But if I don't care, who care? As simple as that, right? Who care? I'm a bag of trash. I don't care about that shop. Who care? You think that I'm junior or I'm a stupid person, right? I don't care. I don't care. Really, I don't care. You got to have that kind of not self-confident, confident of about your true identity in Christ Jesus, your true identity in your Father's eyes. You are precious. If somebody is willing to sacrifice his only son to pay for your price, how precious you are. Think about this. Are you willing to exchange your $500,000 house to pay for a stranger for his release from his, say, he owns somebody money, right? Are you willing? If you are willing, it means that that person was at least $500,000, right? True? If God, the creator, are willing to sacrifice his son to pay for your price, to pay for your debt, count how expensive you are, how precious you are. So this is my confidence. If I rely on my performance, my performance fail all the time, right? I'm in big trouble. Somebody say that, oh, you didn't finish that program work, you're fired. I will be in big trouble. I will be trembling. I will be a man pleaser all the time. True? But I'm not. I own my result, but I know my worth. It's not based on my performance. It's my relationship with my Father. It's how my daddy see me. That is unshakable, right? If my daddy already redeemed me using his only son's life, I'm more than $1 trillion easily. 1 trillion times 1 trillion, right? I'm more than $1 trillion, period. So I don't worry about the $100,000 job. I don't worry about the, $1 million position. I don't worry about that. I will do as good as I can, but I don't worry about this. To be fair, right? I don't worry about this. If somebody say, my teammate say that, hey, Paul, you promised to deliver this, you didn't. I say, I'm sorry. Yes, I messed up. Let me see what I can do to deliver my promise. As simple as that, right? You don't need to worry, oh my goodness, oh my boss is going to fire me if I mess up with this. Who cares? don't worry about your job. Today is Saturday anyway. So if my boss, like Chase or somebody, is listening, he say, oh my goodness, this guy is brutal. He don't care what I say. No, I care what you say, but I don't worry what you say. I care what you say. I care your opinion. I care, I appreciate your feedback, but I don't worry about this. I don't put extra weight onto my burden. Right now we have fun. We just have fun. Right now we have a very honest conversation. We just have honest conversation. I don't need to hide any of my trash. I know that as long as I'm honest, my daddy will honor me. Together with my Father in heaven, with Jesus Christ, with his Holy Spirit, we can turn trash into treasure. We can turn dust into diamond. We can turn your pain point into your superpower. Oh, look at how smart I am. Right? All of a sudden, I become a poetry. I come up with this. Okay, I have copyright about this, which means that free to copy. Good. Okay, let's come back to this. Right? You have this confidence. You don't care how other people trash you or you trash yourself. Jesus is your future, literally. Literally, he is that expensive. You are more than $1 trillion project. You are his beloved son. So you push that out, push that self-trash talking out. You don't accept that, right? As I mentioned, you are 100% the control designer and driver of your own life. You're the result you desire. So when you say that, okay, I see that vision, I'm that happy, I'm see that vision, I'm that relaxed, I see that vision, I'm that silly, right? Is that funny? I want that. Then what is the next step? Claim it, speak it out. Your lips are painting the blueprint, what you are supposed to look like, what you are supposed to smell like, how funny you could be. Your lips speak it, write it down, journal it, right? Post it on LinkedIn if you are as serious as I do. I put my plan on LinkedIn. If people want to predict what I'm going to do next, look at my LinkedIn profile. I post it 3 months from September the 4th to December 4th. This would be the future me in 3 months. Post it on LinkedIn, right? You post it on LinkedIn, say, this would be the happy John in 3 months, in 3 days, not 3 months, too far away, 3 months, right? In 3 days, I will enjoy my cup of tea. I will go out to walk with my dog in the sun and receive the sunlight, right? Oh my goodness, so energized, so relaxed in the sunlight. Thank you. Thank you for the sun, right? The Son of the Most High God, Jesus Christ. He can be the sunlight. Even that sun is not there, right? It can be the sun shining onto your heart